Hi, I'm Michelle and welcome to my mental health channel. Today's topic is an introduction to personality disorders. I get a lot of questions about personality disorders, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about them today because there's so much to go into. But if you get anything out of this video, I hope it is that it's really important, whether we know someone with a personality disorder or you yourself have one, is to work to be non-judgmental about the person. So we have to separate in certain ways the behavior from the person. We may not like the behavior that we or the other person is exhibiting, but we don't get to judge them as a less than person. You know, I would say that personality disorders are a pervasive pattern of instability. We all have times of instability in our lives, or most of us do. It's really about whether this is pervasive. So the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors are long-standing problems, and they really touch all or most aspects of a person's life. Three things may point to a person having the diagnosis of a personality disorder. And remember that diagnoses are really to be used to help, not to hurt. But they can hurt, especially a diagnosis of a personality disorder. So we want to be very careful with them and how we think about them and use them, and remember to use them as a tool, not as a label to cause pain to someone else or ourselves. So back to the three things that may point to the diagnosis being there of some type of personality disorders. And if you've researched this at all, you know there's a lot of different types that have been created. Number one is the way the person or you think, feel, and behave causes problems for yourself and others. Two, the way you think, feel, and behave really touches all or most areas of your life: friendships, school, career, relationships, to family, but most of all, the relationship to oneself. And three, the problems have continued for a long time. This isn't something that's come up, for 6 months and left. This is something that tends to be with someone, through childhood or even teen years, on through their lives, unless they really address it seriously. I would use caution about diagnosing another person with a personality disorder just because they have been so used to demean other people. The diagnosis really can only be made by a mental health professional. And still, professionals can disagree. They could see, you could have 10 professionals see the same person, and they may not agree on whether it is or is not a personality disorder, or what type it is. It could be just a mistaken diagnosis for a lot of different reasons. The mental health professional only sees you in a certain setting and situation. They don't see, as we're following you around, we don't see you in all the different pieces of your life. So your therapist or psychiatrist only sees what you tell them, or what they've been told perhaps by other professionals who've seen you. So it could be a mistaken diagnosis. And most of all, a diagnosis can, for some people, feel more harmful than helpful. So when I suspect a personality disorder is going on with a client, or a client comes to me and says they think that they may have a certain type of personality disorder, they wonder if they have a certain personality disorder, we talk about whether going through the criteria and reaching a diagnosis is something that they would think would be helpful and make them feel like, okay, now I understand why I've had all this pain, why these things are not working out for me. It's this disorder is happening for me. And now let's look at the things that have been shown to help this disorder and address the symptoms as best we can. So remember that a personality disorder, whether it's given, the diagnosis given to you by someone in your life or by a mental health professional, is really not about who you are. It's really about, what it really should be about is addressing the symptoms that are in your way. So if the attitudes, beliefs, behaviors are pervasive, they're in your way, then find a professional, and it can be hard to do sometimes, but find someone who knows how to talk to you and help you look at these symptoms non-judgmentally, because there are a lot of things that can help a personality disorder soften around the edges, feel better. So it is not a diagnosis that is hopeless. Thank you so much for watching this introductory video about personality disorders. I really appreciate your time. And if you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Please do take great care of yourself. Be well.